Namaste, Roaming Yogis. Welcome to a mini lesson on downward dog. What we're going to talk about is variations on down dog, and not variations like more difficult binds or other things that you can use to make the pose more challenging. I'm going to go through some variations that you can do to make the pose work better for you. I have had a lot of people tell me that downward dog is not their friend, that it's not comfortable for them. They really don't like spending any time in it at all. And they just think that they can't do the pose at all, which is absolutely not true. So in this video, we're just going to talk through a few of the variations that I really love that I think help make it work for everybody. And you can incorporate it into your next practice when your teacher calls downward dog. So let's just start with regular downward dog. Let's just talk through it. So you want your pointer fingers and your thumbs to make an L shape, and then you want your pointer fingers to be pointing up towards the top of your mat, okay? You want your hands about shoulder width apart, maybe a tiny bit wider, but pretty much shoulder width apart. Tuck your toes, send your hips high, and I'm pressing into my fingertips. So I can kind of see underneath my nails, they change color. I'm pressing into my fingertips, which helps take pressure off of my wrists. I like to bend my knees a couple times and really let my shoulders melt back. So try that so you can identify where you might need more support. If it's too much on your hands, the first thing I like to try is bringing my hands a little bit higher. So if you bring in a set of blocks, I like to use them on the high setting. You can also do like this medium one or the low one. That's why they're great. Make sure that you have a sturdy pair. I like Manduka Cork Yoga blocks, but there are a lot of great brands out there. So you can bring your hands up higher. Same thing, tuck your toes, send your hips high. So what I've done is I've shifted my weight more into my feet than in my hands. So this is a great variation to try. And then you have options to lower as you get stronger and stronger. Now, if your wrists, right on the inside of your wrist, if you start to feel like a tight pain there, it can mean that you just are not super flexible in your wrists, and that's totally okay. So you can bring blocks again and let your fingers kind of drape over the front of your blocks so that the heel of your hand is elevated above where your fingertips are. You can also achieve this by folding up like a dish towel and putting it under the heel of your hand. That puts your wrists at just a little bit better position if you're not super flexible there. So give that one a try. Fingers are coming off the blocks, or maybe you have towels folded under the heels of your hands. And take a few breaths there, see how it feels. Another variation that I love is using a chair. So you can use pretty much any dining room chair that's pretty stable. I have my chair yoga chair. So lots of options here. The first one, so we're going to come to standing. The first one is just putting your hands on the back of the chair, stepping your feet back, and finding a down dog position right here. So obviously most of the weight is in my feet, but I'm letting my shoulders melt down towards the mat so that I'm putting a little bit of pressure on my hands up here, and I kind of achieve the same engagement. Moving a little bit lower, you can come to the front of your chair. Hands are on the chair, just like they would be on the mat. And then we find that down dog position. So this is going to be the same effect as if you're using blocks, except you're putting even more weight into your feet. So that's a really great one to try. If it's hurting your legs or maybe your hamstrings don't feel super great when you do it, you can do downward dog, or at least the upper body portion from your chair. So sit down in your chair. I like to use this bolster. Bring it in front of you, and you can bring your hands onto it. Take your feet nice and wide. Hinge at the hips. Just let your shoulders melt down again. Now, if you don't have a bolster, not everybody does. That's okay too. What you can do is you can bring another chair in front of you and put your hands on that. So that's a great one to really get the upper body portion of downward dog. Now, the last one I want to show you is pretty accessible if you're trying to modify something in a teacher's class and they're just calling downward dog and flowing through things. You can try this one. This is called puppy pose. So you'll start in tabletop, walk your palms forward, and then you want your hips to stay over your knees, but melt your shoulders down towards the mat. So this is puppy pose. So this is a great one to use if you don't have all these props, or maybe you don't have time in the practice to set up all those props. Give puppy pose a try. I also like if a teacher says, let's pedal out our feet to stretch the backs of our legs, I can straighten one leg from puppy pose and press into my heel to get that same stretch. And then I can go to the other side. So this is a great one. So if you're going through your chaturanga, let's say you come through your yogi push-up, maybe you take a cobra, and then you press through your tabletop and you would go normally to downward dog. What you can do, walk your hands forward, drop your shoulders down low into puppy pose. So I hope that you found a variation that works for you. I hope you give all of these a try. Let me know what you think of these in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.